Another one. Confounded thing.
You have an intelligent look about you. A moment of your time?
Greetings! You have a sharp look to you, traveler. My name is Azandar. I'm an arcanist, and I'm hoping we can help each other out. I've decades of esoteric knowledge, a bit of coin, and a convivial attitude. What do you say? I'd like your help tracking down a former associate of mine. I was attempting to create a relic of great power, and now find my fate frayed, for lack of a better term. I call this relic the Fateweaver Key. Martina was a brilliant collaborator, and may be able to identify where I went wrong. To find her, we'll need to find a tome, summon a Daedra, and brave the terrors of Apocrypha. What do you say? Join me in an exploration into the unknown? I'm looking forward to our collaboration. As I said, we'll need a book on Daedra summoning to get us on the right track. Let's convene in the center of Cypher's Midden. Is there anything I can clarify for you before we begin? That mystic phenomenon I was struggling with, I'm calling them frayed fates. They're echoes from a choice I once made. My work to create the Fateweaver Key has snarled them up. So untidy. If I'm ever to perfect the key, I'll need to unfray my fate. A good question. I need to reset. Return to the roots of my research to unravel this issue. That's why I'm hoping to find my old colleague. Their name was Martina Abor, a talented researcher, though we've since parted ways. My hope is that a Daedric consultant, a watcher named Tim, will know where they are. The book will lead us to Tim, you see. Thankfully, the ciphers of the Eye have given me access to their stacks. Ha! An excellent question. I'm a scholar of esoterica, eldritch secrets, and things mortals were not meant to know. I'm an arcanist of the highest order, proud to say, wresting the power of Apocrypha into my quill-gnarled hands, as you do. Arcanist is a broad brush, to be sure, but we're all devotees to abstruse arcanum, individual proclivities aside. From mad hermits raving about tentacles to precision rune crafters. I consider myself a scholar, first and foremost. It's not my fault. I mean, I was attempting to peer beyond the veil of reality, much as Hermaeus Mora does, to gaze upon other fate lines. It would have been brilliant. I should have spent more time developing my infralux notation. Just think, what could you learn by looking beyond your own life, at the paths unwalked? What kernels of truth could you hold with such a tool? I hope to gain knowledge about myself, about the universe, why, about the very nature of mortality. A simplistic example. Not all choices are equal. But if the choice to have oatmeal instead of eggs changed the course of your life, think of them like divergence points and everything you could learn seeing the might-have-beens play out. The stacks aren't far at all. I'll see you there.
Here we go.
Yeah! Yeah! The search for knowledge begins! Ah! I've no idea where in Orbis to look for my old colleague Martina. But I know she was working with a Daedric consultant, a creature named Tim. If we can summon Tim, we can find Martina. Indubitably, I knew I was right about you. Now, an esteemed elder within the ciphers once summoned forth this Daedra. If we can find the notes from this elder, you and I can summon Tim and engage in parley.
Well, you've never been to the Library of Dusk, I take it. Or the forbidden section of Gwillem University.
Dedicated scholars must develop their own search magics. I'll begin the incantation. Just be ready for anything. Apocrypha is full of surprises. Incantus eruditum, abyssal sea, hear my call. Find the secrets beneath this scroll.
The rune form is complete.
Follow where it leads. Aha! The book we need is in that pile. There. A tome shell has the text. Get after it. The chase is on. Excellent work. Ha! That was bracing. Pity the tome will smell like transliminal parasite now. Let's see what it says. Here's the ritual to summon Tim. Easy enough, just a question of the appropriate summoning materials. We'll need expunged tome dust, the talon of a seeker, and black ichor from the spoomy pools of Apocrypha. Let me mark your map. Seekers tend the flora of the region. Their talons often break off in the resin. And there should be plenty of tome dust scraped from parchment in the cipher's midden expungatory. Try to get some from a Daedric incantation. I'll procure that, worry not. Don't want you to think I'm taking advantage of your assistance. Once you have the dust and talon, we'll meet back up at the ritual site I've marked on your map. What do you say? The tome dust should be found in the cipher's midden expungatory, while seekers tend to congregate around those resin plants to the southwest. Easy enough, and soon we'll be talking to Tim. Well, I should hope so. I've been coming here for years. Fascinating place. You can learn the ways of the Arcanist back home, of course, but to truly understand the forces of fate, tides, and the abyssal sea, there's nowhere else like it. Oh, here and there, you know. You've seen one post-feudal city-state, you've seen them all, am I right? My family hails from Hammerfell, born and raised in tall Papa's shadow. I'm no youngster, obviously. My parents now dwell within Aetherius, and the rest of the family politely pretends I don't exist. Best for all involved. Now then, we have a Daedra to summon. Knowledge to gain. Yeah! Yeah!
Do be careful. Don't rush about and scatter the dust.
Above the moon of Massa, beyond sweet oblivion, is snared within the ruins of my dark love.
Begone! My fate line is my own.
Your life is mine.
Did you hear? Never mind. Welcome. This should be most illuminating. Ah, my new collaborator. Good to see you again. By Mora's eyes, these frayed fates are becoming increasingly annoying. I look forward to putting them to bed, as it were. Do you have the items we need to summon our Daedric consultant? Peerless work! Let's see. Here's the Ichor. Unpleasant to gather, but I've done worse in my day. Now then, I'll light the fonts and begin the incantation. As we go, I'll need you to offer up the Tome Dust, Talon, and Ichor, in that order. Just so. With any luck, this Tem can tell us where the whims of fate have led Martina. If this doesn't work, well, I'm sure I'll think of something. But let's hope it works, eh? Onward! We light the flames to summon Tem, the omen of destiny. Come before us!
Tem is summoned. Ask your questions, make your offerings.
We offer the dust of an ancient spell. I seek the location of my former colleague, Martina Abor.
Tem's eyes have seen you, Azandar al-Cybiades. You search for one who does not wish to be found.
Recalcitrant, are we? We offer the talon of a seeker. I need Martina to correct an error. Where are they?
You tamper with fate, mortal. Tem sees a darkness approaching, one you have unmoored.
Daedra, I have called, and you must answer. With Icor as payment, I command you. Where can I find Martina Abor?
I shall answer, but not to you, Arcanist. Tem will speak with the one who made the
Anything good?
offerings.
The audacity of that creature.
Tem sees you mortal. Adventures, triumphs that have happened, or may never happen. Speak, and Tem will tell you what you wish to know. The choices of Azandar al-Cybiades hang heavy about him, reeking from stains on his hands and his soul. Also, he speaks with a distinct lack of respect for Tem, the omen of destiny. Martina Abor, Arcanist of the Abyssal Sea and Illuminatus of the Threads of Fate, retreated to their sanctum 920 days ago. Seek them within the subrealm known as the Underweave, at a place called the Heart. But beware, mortal. The Arcanist you travel with sought to view the paths unwalked, but failed to see where those paths led. In his hubris, he has allowed a thing that should not be to be. Tem has spoken. Questions asked and answered. Farewell, mortals.
All things being equal, that went rather well. It seems we're off to the Underweave. Oh, exciting! The Underweave is a powerful nexus of fated potential in Chroma Incognito. Terribly powerful and terribly dangerous. Sounds just like Martina to set up a lab there. Onward and upward! Am I? No, not particularly. Daedra are strange beasts, you know. Their concept of mortality, time, and danger are very different from our own. Clearly, there have been some unintended consequences, but nothing the two of us can't handle. We were excellent collaborators. Together we gathered power from across the Daedric realms. But in the end, she had very different goals than I do. If nothing else, damn it, I want to have some fun. Ta! Yes, of that I have no doubt. Martina is a consummate professional. Just don't get her started on the transliminal properties of exogenic materials or the writings of Deno Gorath, the Dread Archivist. And we'll be there all day. You must understand, I have been studying arcane ephemera for decades now. The Underweave is just so obvious, and I try very hard not to be boring. Plus, it's extremely dangerous in there. Fate shifts like the tides of the abyssal sea. A thing can be both dangerous and boring. The universe contains multitudes. I truly believed I would be able to master fate itself without entering its walls. Vexing to have been proven wrong. Given the focus of our research, it makes perfect sense. Fate itself pulses through the corridors of the Underweave, and it's tradition for powerful arcanists to establish a sanctum. I have one myself, you know. Quite proud of it.
Back in the saddle.
Not to belabor the obvious, but we'll need to be careful here. We should make haste to the heart of the Underweave and find Martina's sanctum. Onward and upward! The Fateweaver Key is palpitating, pulling me. Off to the east? Fascinating. Something in Martina's sanctum must be synergizing with the relic. Let's find that laboratory.
Get back, fiend! That's the end of that tale. Travels together have taught me so much.
This must be it. Knock, knock, Martina. All right, let's get my fates unfrayed. Damn it, Martina. Dead. I had hoped. Why must the most brilliant among us fall to curiosity's blade? Take a look around, if you don't mind. I need a moment. Martina was a zealous note-taker. That may be helpful to our inquiry. No idea what that concoction is. Curious. Perhaps you, might find something on her remains. Come. Let's talk. I wish I could say this was the first time I found an old friend dead, but I cannot. From the spell lattice surrounding them, I believe Martina's research may have followed a similar path to my own. Let's take a look at that journal. Martina says here she could somehow scry for the fates frayed from her timeline. Fascinating. She experimented with several different methods, including using her own blood. It's messy, dangerous, but perhaps effective. Yes, I believe so. I have some thoughts that need to germinate, and I'd like to dispel this ward. Take care of Martina. Let's retire to my rooms at Cypher's Midden, near the Way Shrine. I'll see you there, my canny colleague. I'll see you back at Cypher's Midden, my perspicacious collaborator. Just need to see to Martina, here. Research, of course. Always research. Just like in the old days. Martina and I were excellent collaborators. I was the gab, the talker, the trader. But Martina was the silent strength, astute observations after lengthy contemplation. I'm an arse. It seems wrong to coat the truth in moon sugar standing over Martina's final work. I can be challenging to know and worse to work with. Martina put up with me for the better part of 5 years. Longer than anyone else. I'm not quite sure. I think perhaps she was trying to manipulate fate itself. But I'd have to examine Martina's notes to fully understand what happened here. Martina was as nimble-witted as anyone I've ever met, and stubborn as the abyssal sea. Now, if she thought they could twist fate itself, nothing would slow them down. Changing the fate lines is something not even Hermaeus Mora himself can do. I hope I can honor Martina's memory somehow. I'll see you back at Cypher's Midden.
You're matched. There's a sack of supplies over there. What's inside? I wonder what price that lot might fetch.
Welcome. I've just been preparing. Pardon the simplicity of my setup here. Martina's research lives on. I believe with further development I can adapt her methods and modify the Fateweaver Key itself. But let's crawl before we walk. First, we confirm if scrying for frayed fates is even possible. It's time to put my failure behind me. So far, the fates have come to me. With Martina's research, we can scry for one, find it, and shut it down. What do you think of that? This is why you make a good collaborator. Your focus. I place in your hands the Fateweaver Key. Still flawed, unfortunately, but newly modified thanks to Martina's notes. Follow along with me, and we'll seek out a frayed fate. Observe this thaumaturgical quadrant. Gripping the key, activate each of the beacons. Shipwreck? Wait, that must be Fathom's Drift. Superlative! The drift is in the far north of the region. I'll meet you there. That was rough, unrefined. I can do better. But we've got our first success, and a location. Fathom's Drift. We shall stitch together the unraveled threads of my fate. Mistakes made in forging the Fateweaver Key will recede into the past. Together we will reap the rewards of knowledge, insight, and scholarship, just as Martina would have wanted. Truly, I have no Orbiso idea why a path unwalked would lead me there. But Martina was shrewd, clever, and other complimentary words. We can trust their work.
Let's go.
I live. It is my will.
Away, you pestering phantom. You're here. It's so pleasant to work with someone so prompt and cunning. Blast these frayed fates. Let's get in there and turn theory into practice, eh? Smooth these things back into the universe. First, we enter the drift and find the darn thing. The Fateweaver Key in your able hands will lead us where we need to go. Now, properly attuned, it should allow you to tug on the threads that bind my fate to me. We use the Fateweaver Key itself to bind this frayed fate back into the fabric of the universe. I'm not... well, to be totally honest, I'm not exactly sure what that will look like. But we're armed with the dead friend's knowledge. We'll see it done. Into the drift! Huzzah! Yeah!
What do you think we'll find around the next corner?
The Fateweaver Key will be our guide. It should make visible the threads that bind me to the nearby frayed fate. There. A thread. Untie it, and we'll follow the thread to the next. And the next. Ah! Martina's work. My research. It's working! Smashing! Onward and upward, as always! Ha! That thread was woven past that door! Up the ramp! I think I see something! Look there! This distortion is a frayed fate. Let's pull this situation into focus.
Off the deck, Azandar. Stop lollygagging, Azandar. I'm tired of all this.
What? A sailor? How odd. I haven't wanted to be a sailor since I was a child.
Bilge rats and stale bread. I'll never make it to first mate. Such potential. Stronger now.
Twitching tentacles, what is that?
I grow stronger.
Quickly, use the key. These room forms should banish that thing.
We will not be undone.
It worked! Oh, I wasn't sure it would. What we just witnessed, distressing, horrid, disconcerting. Apologies, cohort. I'm free associating to deal with my emotions. Of course, just processing. Tem, it seems, was telling the truth. Afraid fate has grown in strength somehow. Become adversarial. Allow me to take back the Fateweaver Key. I'll need to consider this new information. The introduction of this adversary into the experiment was unforeseen. Let's reconvene in my room at Cypher's Midden.
There's a supply sack just there. Oh, lucky. Stendarr must be watching.
Yeah. Yeah. Ah, there you are. Come, let's talk. I'm ecstatic. Ebullient, even.
Incredible. Somehow, my experiment seems to have created a new, previously unseen mystic phenomenon. One frayed fate consumed the other by means and for reasons unknown. I'd be even happier if it didn't want me dead. Ha! Yes. I mean, would I prefer this adversary enjoy a strenuous argument over a pot of tea? Without a doubt. But you have to understand, I believe the Fateweaver experiment was an abject failure. Indubitably. And mark me well, this discovery would not have been possible without your insights and abettance. We make a superlative research duo, you and I. I haven't had a competent cohort in some time. I must. My fate is still frayed after all. It must be restored and this dark being dealt with. But now, a question for you. Would you be willing, if you have the time and inclination, to continue our collaboration? Together, my new cohort, we began the work of understanding the nature of fate. We put an old friend to rest. And someday soon, we'll repair the key. But for now, accept my promised coin with enthusiastic thanks. Onward and upward! Together, cohort, we will accomplish stupendous things, remarkable things, for research!